This episode is dedicated to the memory of Ruth Cobart, the bus driver in Dirty Harry and Qui-Gon in Sister Act, who sadly passed on the same day as Cage of Death 4!
Dutt who put Elhan Shoof away, and they've got two striding up in the centre here. Booba Chop is there! Oh, and Booba Chop is there! And Senegal have scored the first goal of the 2002 World Cup! After half an hour's play, Papa Booba Chop! Oh. Just look at this celebration! Jesus!
We're back with CZW.
CZW, CZW.
CZW. Are you ready?
I am ready. I've got this ready. Hold on. Oh, I'm not ready. Sorry. Hold on. It would have been good if I was ready, but the screen refreshed. I noticed that it wasn't coming through, so I have to continually talk while the theme's going on to get it through to you. It should all come out in the recording, of course. So I just like that.
You know, I was thinking to myself, I've got all this fancy new equipment versus when we were doing this on laptops. I was just going to fucking screen share a crisp YouTube link of the CCW theme that I could just play. But, you know, I heard you just play the CCW theme into your microphone, and it barely comes through, but I can hear it, and it makes me laugh so much. So I think, yeah, that's the way to do it.
And now I'm trying to set it to the start again, but I've got like a phone. I've got a phone case, so I can only go at 36 seconds. So we're going to miss that. But it is what it. Fucking focus. Come on. Come on. No, not 36 seconds.
Come on, double tap to go 10 seconds back.
Yeah, good thing. What? It says 36 seconds. Oh, this technology has passed me by. Yeah. We've got that for later. Be needing that.
CZW. The promotion of the ones that we got to, where, you know, it's hard to think of one that just felt like more, I guess, like unified as far as like an identity goes. Like,
oh yeah,
you know, like you just watch it and
Gabe's still in his figuring himself out stage.
Yeah,
Ian could have anything. He could just have like midgets or something. It's like a lucky draw or something. But CZW, you know the cast of characters.
absolutely.
And there'll be newcomers and stuff, but it keeps to its own.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Like that's probably what it is. Is that, like, you know, there are obviously highs to be had with like the others, but like there's just like a lot more consistency to CCW. It feels I suppose the most major league out of all of them, just in terms of presentation. You know, like obviously it's still very proudly like sort of like an indie thing, but like, you know, it's just like very tightly produced, at least relative to the indie scale, you know. And yeah, it I mean, I guess the big example of that is that, like, you know, we think of like, oh, where do we leave off with IW Mid-South? There were matches going on. And where did RH leave off? A handshake. But with CCW, it's like, oh, I want to see Zandig versus Lobo, because they're fighting for the ownership of the company. And so
have you seen any like CCW since we, ratified its stuff?
Let's see. I am fairly certain that I watched someone showed me Zandig versus Ian, like that big match. But gosh, yeah, I think this kind of ended up being I tell a lie, because I did show a bunch of people Sick Nick Mondo versus Homeless Jimmy, and then I can't remember who it was. I just showed the entirety of the Tournament of Death to. I think it was a friend of mine. I was like, oh, you should look at the Messiah working with a thumb. So yeah, but it was real nice to, sort of like I was saying to you, it's like just like so comfy to like just like go right back into it, and like it really isn't just like one person. Like every single character you see, you're like, there they are, my guy. And yeah, so like from the points that we were last at, it is still going on, this struggle of ownership between Lobo and Zandig. So Lobo won it at did he win it at answering the challenge? Is that when that happened? Like there was it was that one with like
they had a short match, right? Before the barbed wire crazy one.
Yeah,
it might have been answering the challenge. Yeah, it was early in the year for sure.
Yeah, where like there was a permanent hell, and then like Lobo wins the ownership, and from there, Zandig is a homeless. He is so unemployed, bro. Holy fuck. He doesn't have shit. He's just wearing jeans and a jacket and baseball hat. He got nothing, bro.
He sleeps in the bin.
And then comes in to make epic return.
Yeah. But today, are we going to see Zandig finish the story?
Oh, I had the thought of framing it like that, but I forgot about it, so I'm glad you remembered.
Maybe if Godzilla and House repeated this on like every 2002 show, they would have done $1 million house hit, because people love when you repeat things.
Well, look, Eric Godzilla was way too busy thinking of ways to say that Zandig was homeless. So, that's fine as it is. And from there, we've got so many stories as well involving so the Messiah and Justice Pain. I really like this. It's like a bookend of 2002 where they start with answering a challenge, Messiah as the guy who just left XPW, and now ending with the guy who's now a CCW dude, and he got no thumb as well. Oh no. And like, I did notice that like there are some storyline beats that we would have like skipped over. Like, it's like Messiah steals the belt, and that makes Justice Pain angry. Oh no. So,
give me back my belt.
Give me back belt. That mine. Belt's mine. So that is the story. Pretty good stuff. And
so what did you think of the CZW kickoff show here? We're just going to keep comparing this to WWE. This is the kickoff show. It's quite marvelous, I thought.
Are you referring to like the fucking 20-minute block of promos and music videos?
Yeah, absolutely.
I thought it was awesome.
It was so cool.
Oh, like just to open this video file and immediately see Lobo green screen and
That's the thing CZW had, right? You
yeah.
open the file and you're immediately greeted by just something amazing. I watched this fucking show from 2001, like the week before I watched this. Just a
Yeah.
completely random show from 2001. So just watching it for like an amazing red match.
Yeah, yeah,
And I
yeah.
and I got this.
Wait a minute! Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Airport Jewel with John the Hitman House, and it looks like a pig is being led to slaughter!
A pig is being led to slaughter. And it was like Z-Barr being carried on like, what do you call it? It was like a pole and he's like tied up, hanging upside down underneath the pole. It was like brilliant. I don't need to know anything that's happened
Oh yeah.
to set this up. It's Z-Barr, who they called Brittany a lot in this show, which is
Yeah.
worth remembering.
Yeah. Fucking I remember being explained once, with like another case of death, I think, where like it's literally like they have all these DVD extras, and when they upload it to IWTV, they just get to put it all in there. So it's just like fucking loaded up front with like 20 minutes of shit that you can select from a DVD menu, and they just like put it all in there. And I'm so glad for it. I'm so glad for it. Absolutely. I I just loved seeing Lobo. Like his manner of speaking is so funny. um, like he's in his shirt. He's got like this letter, and he's like, nuts to you, Zandig. I just came from my lawyer's office. Coercion. I signed this under coercion. It's invalid. So now I won't wrestle at Cage of Death. And then, oh my god, who's interrupting the promo? But Z-Barr!
Oops, he did it again.
He comes in, and I love how Lobo's so flustered, and he just goes, you always pick the most inopportune times. And then Z-Barr has him sign some bills, and Lobo is like so focused on getting Z-Barr the fuck out of here, he does not look at the bills, and it's like, oh my goodness, what's going on?
I've got to read the fine print, Sheriff Boyer.
Exactly. And then it cuts to Zandig in the dojo working out.
Ooh.
Fucking Skid Row in the background. And
Is that the band? Yeah, I just read everything.
yeah, I looked up the lyrics.
Nice work.
And Zandig is yelling. He's like, remember this, Lobo? You were the first student of this dojo and stuff. And then he pulls up what else but the very first CGW show poster. And then he notes how not many people on this poster are here now because only the strong survive, which is a very direct insult to Wacky Wayne Wu. It really made me curious to actually watch the first show just to see what the fuck that guy's deal is.
I watched that like years ago. So it's very strange. It's very basic. Like I don't think it even has commentary on it.
I remember like seeing like a whole pack of 1999. It was like odd to see it like not formed yet. But then Zandig goes on, but when he and Lobo used to be tight, he tells the camera, we used to bust ass at construction sites all day, and what we do when we get back home, we don't go to our wives, we don't have dinner, we just come right here and bust our butts some more in the ring. Like, all they're doing is busting butt here. What a life to lead. And then he says he's going to break Lobo like no one's ever been broken before, and you know why? Because I am the one in control. And then the shot lingers on him looking at the poster, and he throws it down, drinks some water. That's it. And then it's time for Cage of Death, fucking music video block on MTV. That's what this fucking felt like.
Oh yeah.
Fucking.
Did you note as the Cage of Death logo goes up, it's like...
What was that? Oh yeah. Oh, I noted that down by doing a keyboard smash. That was awesome. Perverse, sadistic, ultra effing violent, and that's the adjectives they give here. What do you think of the matchup graphics?
So there's a promo shot where Zandig and Lobo stand back to back before turning to face each other. This is their Jimmy versus James.
I know, right? That's why I thought. Fucking
great thinkers think the same. That's the phrase.
They broke kayfabe to do that shot, but unlike Jimmy and Jay, it was awesome to do.
Some of the fans were like, hold on, is this not real?
How did they get these guys in that same room? But no, like, so like there's a card we're doing later, but they do show here like the Zandig and Lobo ones where like Zandig is doing the Zandig pose, right? And then Lobo, he fucking like it's like points to head.
Yeah.
And that was so good.
That's like if you make like I love making stupid characters on the WWE video games.
Yeah.
And I always call them Big Stinky Cunt. And you find like you find like the funniest like pre-match graphic animation for them. So I'd be like, oh, what am I doing here? I'm supposed to be doing this. I'm working in an office.
Exactly. Fucking awesome. Then we go into O Fortuna, into Somber Strings, because it's time to recap Cage of Death. I really love this way they do it, where like it's like just like the shot is on this book. It says Cage of Death.
Because he's gonna finish the fucking story.
That's right. And then like
Nate Webb might not approve, but he's gonna finish the story.
Fuck books.
Fuck books, man. So sick of fucking stories and books, man.
Libraries can go fuck off. Government can defund them. I don't want to hear about stories. Thanks, Cody Rhodes. Fuck. But no, like I quite enjoyed how like there's the book thing, like it looks quite tasteful, right? And then it gets to the Cage of Death recaps, and it's like this fucking overlay of like a cage wall. This the clip is playing on, and then
the book looks like it could be from like 1633, but you open it and it's just a shot of a dude being thrown into a cage and being like.
Yeah. There's like an excerpt of someone screaming here. It gets cut off. It's truly beautiful, and then goes over Cage of Death 1, Cage of Death 2, Cage of Death 3. Then it gets to Cage of Death, and then blood drips down, big bits of blood, and then
I was reading this book and then I got news.
and
now I can't return this without getting a fine.
After whoever this person was brushes off their nose, their bloody fingers right out. 4. And then
he's like just trying to get the blood off it. He wrote the number 4.
And now it's time for Eminem.
Mom Spaghetti.
The meme song.
Mom Spaghetti.
And it's quite nice. Just a whole bunch of clips of like dudes beating ass in the CC dub. Sometimes it is reversed, and it's like whoa. It's something sped up. Holy shit! And I was quite what would be the word? Intrigued by one of the visuals here, which appeared to be Lobo hanging from something. But it wasn't as if it was like Zandig hanging from the hooks. It looked like they just kind of like, like Zandig just like bullied him and like put him on top of a coat hanger or something. He's like, "Oh, come on, guys, give me a touch of here." And then we get to the card rundown with everyone getting moving match graphics, soundtracks by Control by Puddle of Mud. I'll have you know, it's pretty nice.
Puddle of Mud, good old Mud of Mud.
Mud of Mud. And man, I could not have anticipated how this show would have started, because like all this happens, it's 20 minutes in, and then I see the graphic, the smart Mark video graphic, God bless you. I see Zandig versus Lobo, and I'm like, But
Godzilla was similarly confused. He's like, this wasn't scheduled for now. Meanwhile, you see the cage already set up in the ring.
I know.
What fucking match did you think was going to happen, Eric?
I know, that's a very good point. Like, I guess I was sort of like wondering, like during the promo, if like this is going to be like lockdown or something. We're like, oh, every match is going to be in the cage. But no, it turns out not to be. So
they did do a show like that. They did do that. They did do a show like that in like 2003, I think. And it's on my list. It's on my list.
Nice.
It's CZW Lockdown. It's coming up.
CZW Lockdown.
One day.
Wow. Sheriff Lobo is here with Lobo Goon. Lobo Goon is back. It's you know, all your pals, Rockin' Rebel, Greg Matthews, Danny Rose, and all
Rockin'
that.
Rebel is not my pal. Just to state for the record.
Yeah.
Not pals with Rockin' Rebel.
It was a trip seeing Rockin' Rebel again and remembering like, oh yeah, he killed his wife.
Yeah.
Like damn. So Lobo has got something in his hands. It is a letter, which he said was coercion. And then, let me know what you think about this. What do you think? Was it at work when the cage exploded, or did that just fucking happen? And you like had to like work around it.
Yeah, it doesn't really like lead to something. And the fans chat, you fucked up. So
yeah,
leaning towards accident, but they haven't even like gimmicked the cage rules. They do that later, don't they?
Yeah, like
I don't know what the fuck was going on.
Yeah, like they get like the Sparkies out later, like when the match starts. But here, like the cage just explodes while Lobo's trying to get a mic, and I immediately think like, oh, he's going to say he's too hurt now, and there's going to be an angle. But then like it doesn't really lead to anything. Rockin' Rebel, boy, did I miss his voice? Just going, why don't you people shut up for a minute? There ain't gonna be no case of death tonight. You all pay for fucking nothing. And then, so yeah, he says all that, and then Lobo recovers from his explosion injury, and then he says what Rebel said, except much better. He says, "You people here say case of death? It's not happening." And then, like, he actually points to the screen. I didn't realize ECW had a screen in the ECW arena.
Yeah. He rolls the footage like it's SmackDown.
He rolls the footage of his fucking terrorist attack. The video, it starts like it's a shot of like Lobo and his buds just like kind of sneaking around all naughty like, and they're like, oh, let's sneak up on Zandig. And helpfully, Zandig is wearing a hoodie that says Zandig on the back.
That must be him.
Could you imagine if it was just someone else and they just fucking kidnapped the dudes? So they jump Zandig. He's just chilling, talking to someone. He gets jumped, and then they kidnap him. They throw him into a truck. Call him Zandog, which is a very fucked up thing to call someone. And then you can hear from indicated, motherfucker. He's very mad about being kidnapped, and then, God, it cuts to like some fucking like Guantanamo Bay shit, man. Like, fucking,
Yeah.
they take him to like it turns out to be like a ring. I guess it might be the dojo or something like that. Zandig has a hood over his head, and they're just fucking cracking light tubes over it. And Lobo's there with the interrogation lights, and he's like telling them, sign this contract, sign it now, sign it, you fuck.
He ain't signing shit.
What do you think of this torture sequence?
It was brutal.
I loved it. It was so cool. Like literally just like fucking like 5 people just beating up Zandig and like
when they hit him with tubes in the tummy. It's a really funny place to hit someone with tubes. Oh,
yeah.
my tummy.
Yeah. I love how Zandig's pain develops where like he like, is initially like, I ain't signing shit, and then like as like just the punishment continues and they're sending him to fucking barbed wire and they're like fucking light tripping his balls, eventually it's not as if he goes like, okay, I'll sign it now. He just goes, oh, he's just fucking screaming. And
So yeah, it fades out with a shot of a light tube being stomped into his dick of balls, and I expect it to go back to Lobo in the ring, but no, they fade back into Zandig. He's suspended in the air by hooks in his like upper back flesh.
yes, and
Like,
I was really struck by the fact that like they did this for like no fans at the time. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's probably for the best. I've seen I think it's GCW Tournament of Survivor 2017 where Flat does it, but obviously the setup is very intricate, so it takes a long time, and it's tough to like sell that you're struggling to break out of it.
I suppose that is true. Yeah.
So it's probably for the best that they just sort of did a fade out and fade in. But yeah, Zandig, man.
Zandig is fucking. He's hanging on these hooks. Then like it's not as if again he's not coerced to sign it. They literally just take his fucking hand, which is probably fucking neutralized because he's got hooks in his back, and he just make him sign it while he continues screaming. And
I feel like they could have just forged the signature, but who am I to question the show?
And we can't forget during the previous bit Adam Flash's role where like there is torture going on. These people are doing criminal torture to Zandig, and then Adam Flash comes in like, hey Lobo, he's a contract, and Lobo's like, oh thanks Adam. And so now they go back to the ring. One last thing I love from the torture bit is like one of the times that Zandig refuses to sign the contract, they just start going, "You are stupid! You are stupid!" So that was good. So then comes back to the ring and Lobo is like, "Well, as you see, the shit ain't happening." And then, oh my god, that's Zandig's music, and he comes the fuck out. He comes out.
Says, like, he's like, he ain't showing up, and then immediately he goes,
epic return.
Yes.
Look at Zandig, man. He's fucking.
Is there anyone like he must have had like less than 500 matches, but he probably had like 250.
Yeah, that is very possible. Zandig is fucking absolutely fucked. Like he's got blood all over him. I was trying to see if like hook marks could be visible on him, but did you catch anything like that, like signs that he had been fucking hooked up?
No, not really. I guess I would have been having a look as well. He's got like a towel around, doesn't he? When he comes out.
Yeah. I guess it does cover up. I'm not sure how much like that stuff would mark. I'm just thinking about how like you know how Sakura like does that like thing where he skewers his mouth but like his cheeks don't have like fucking scars. I bet there's probably signs to it where like they don't show up well. So Zandig is pacing out around, and now like Eric Gargiulo says, this war between Lobo and Zandig is 90% mental and 10% physical. And Zandig, he gets the mic, and he's like, "What you and these idiots did to me means nothing." So immediately we're getting into the wonderful Zandig territory where everything is nothing. And then he just goes, "Barr, get your ass over here." And holy shit, the bills that Barr made Lobo sign, could they have been a turncoat action? Z-Barr chant from the crowd as they think this? And then, oh no, Z-Barr's actually on Lobo's side.
Yeah, fucking doubles forever, really.
Yeah, and then Zandig was like, "Well, fuck." And then, well, it's fine anyway, because Barr was with Rick Feinberg being gay. So, he knew
it's like watching expert chess.
So the true double agent is Adam Flash, who I can't believe it. He was such a card-carrying member of Lobo Goon, but he's here now in his beanie, coming out with the contract that says like, "Oh, you could have the cage of death for the ownership of the company," and then like Zandig has a staff dude just fucking like climb up there and hang it above the ring, because this is like a fucking like ladder match rules, I guess, for lack of a better term. And the guy like drops the contract, and Eric goes, he's nervous. And then fucking unexpectedly, the actual Cage of Death match opens Cage of Death. How did you feel about this structure?
It's an interesting way to do it. I think there's no. I was trying to think of like a logistical reason why it would be first. Like, it's easier to just set up the cage and then, but you still got to take it down. So I don't know. Maybe taking it down takes less time. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. If I think about it, that's probably the reason why. I'd be interested to see if like prior Cages of Deaths, like, because I know I was recently like learning about like one of those bunkhouse stampede shows that the NWA did, where like they were on live pay-per-view, and like there was just so much like waiting for the cage to be built, so like I guess like that is a concern with it. It is really funny too, because I didn't think about that, how like like, oh, we set this case up, but I don't know when the match is gonna happen, don't know if it's gonna happen. Ooh. So that's pretty awesome. And then Zandig versus Lobo, it gets on, and it's all Jan. That's Eric's saying, as they get to smacking. What did you think of the electric aspect of the Cage of Death?
Well, it's weird because they climb it later, so I don't know like how they activate electricity. It seemed kind of inconsistent, but I'm a simple person. You just give me a few zaps and booms, and
there was like there were the wee sparkies. They showed the sparkies. I was like, oh, okay, that's the electricity. And then like there's that one spot where like Lobo gets slammed into it, and then like they're like, oh, he got electrified, and then Lobo slams Zandig into a different wall. It's like, oh, he did not get electrified. So okay, I guess that's that for the electricity. So they get to putting over how crazy the Cage of Death is. Eric says, this is a sort of match. You look a little longer to the eyes of your wife, to the eyes of your child, because maybe you're not coming home. And it's like, wow. No, I believe that this match will be dangerous. And then Zandig, he sets up that cactus. He sets up the cactus, and his fucking... What does he do? He hitches up Lobo's wee t-shirt and does a falcon arrow onto the cactus. Oh no!
Oh.
I really like the cactus action in this match, honestly. And so now it is time for Zandig poverty maxing fantasy booking. Because Eric says that Zandig has been unemployed. He's been unable to look his child in the eye, so close to Christmas. He's been unable to look his wife in the eye or in the mirror. He's just been blind. He's been fucking blind this whole time.
Walking around with his eyes closed, like, nope. Not looking at you until I beat Lobo.
Bumping into shit.
So Zandig, he sets up this contraption, doesn't he?
He sets up a contraption.
So it's a glass pane bounced across 2 chairs on top of the table.
I thought up of like a term for this. Just see whenever there's a death match, right? And a guy is just like, I'm gonna set up this contraption, and then the opponents are like, oh, I am down while this contraption's being built. I call that crafting. Because I just imagine like Minecraft sounds while this guy just fucking like builds away. So Zandig crafts would this be like the Pyramid of Hell he does?
I don't know. That was a show they did, right? Pyramid of Hell.
He does that, and fucking... By the way, did you notice, just across this whole show, I never noticed this in other CCW shows, but Eric Gargiulo does a lot of sports references in this one.
I don't know.
He says, he's talking about the storyline, and he says, it took Leonard Toews 20 shots of whiskey to gamble the Philadelphia Eagles, but John Zandig gambled CCW sober on adrenaline.
What is it? Eric does the camel... Well, I don't know if he still does the camel crotch blood, to be honest. I haven't looked into his stuff in a long time, but I think he talked about a lot of other sports here. I'm not sure his main one is.
Yeah. And the sport he's concerned with here involves nail boards, powerbomb through them shits to Lobo, and then like fucking they just like are fucking like throwing the cacti on each other, and then it's going a cacti, which you gotta love it. It's a strange thing where like they start talking about how CCW, they don't go off the coattails of previous legacies, because like they made the Viking Hall their own, you know. It's not just a place ACW went. This is CCW's place, because this might be the last Viking Hall show. But it's weird because then you immediately, like, not immediately, but like later on it's like, oh yeah, we're running here like in 2 days. So it's strange there. Then yeah, this is where Zandig crafts the Pyramid of Hell. And then Lobo, he ain't having any of that. He's climbing up to the wee scaffold thingy, trying to get the contract. And then Zandig's there too. How did you feel about like the sort of like the combat atop this very shaky surface, and like the wee like sort of punches?
Yeah, I guess they did pretty well with it.
Yeah.
All things considered.
And then after such exchanges, it's time for the first big bomb. It's not through Zandig's, not through Zandig's Pyramid of Hell, because he's trying to do the mother effing bomb through that. But Lobo reverses the momentum. He gets them up and does a DVD through the tables. Excuse me.
It never did. I never did get it to go from the start. 36 seconds.
It's just like that's just the cue now. Like you've got it in virtual DJ or something. So DVD through the tables. It's a sick bump, and you know from there they just like both have to get up I really love like, you know, how much of a wreckage the tables are, and just like how like fucking fucked it looks to like get up out of that. Eric is worried that this company may be up on auction on eBay, which I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to be Zandig, who's the owner, that's going to be fine. And the fans, they see the big bump, and you know what they chant? They don't just chant CCW, they also chant, "Fuck Rob Black." Holy shit.
Yeah,
Robert.
Rob Black. I mean, I'm not saying he hasn't done a lot of things to deserve that, but why that?
CCW's so good, unlike that piece of shit.
Unlike that fucking porno company. Fuck them.
So then Zandig, he hits Lobo with such a chair shot, such a wonderful chair shot, and Eric just goes, "That's for Thanksgiving without a turkey this year." That's for eating spam out of I can. And then chair shots continue, and Zandig climbs up the cage. Lobo is on like 2 tables, and Zandig, he could get the contract right now, but Eric says,
Hitman says that.
He could get the contract right now, Eric.
"It's not about the contract. It's not about the payday. It's not about the TV time. It's about Zandig versus Lobo." This is so true. That's what's happening right now. And Zandig, he jumps off the cage, and as he does, John Hurst goes, "He said he was gonna die!" Which is fucking awesome. Fucking, yeah, big elbow drop through 2 tables, and then
Okay.
So
I have my written cues for this. That's what the high spot. So.
oh, hell yeah.
Got in brackets in capitals. Plays ECW.
Wonderful. So after that big bump, after that certified CCW moment, they get back at the scaffold, and Zandig does the mother effing bomb through the pyramid of hell. I only really processed this when I saw the slow-mo replays. I love how Lobo crashes through all this fucking shit, and then one of the chairs that he didn't even go through, it just fucking bounces off. It looks so dangerous, man. Like, that's such a fucked up thing to go through. And like Lobo, there's a shot of him in the
one
ring.
where he lands on like his. It looks like he lands on his tailbone.
Yeah, it looks fucking gnarly. And there's a shot of him in like the fucking wreckage among all the chairs. He looks like, you know, those like fucking paintings of like Saint Sebastian where he's been fucking arrowed. It's like, you know, just like his body is so fucking like, just like tortured and stuff. Like he looked like that shit. He looked fucking classic romantic, man. And then, you know, even before Zandig wins the match, Eric sees this mother effing bomb, and it's just like, what a way to win your company back. So he has read the script. Zandig wins, and he's got the company back now. He catches the mic from the scaffold. It's very impressive, I thought. And what does he say? He says, "CC fucking W."
Oh yeah.
And then
yeah.
Zandig cuts this sincere promo. He's not just like being Zandig, the enemy of Lobo. He's talking about the boys in the back and stuff. And then he's like, "Oh, there's Wife Beater on the stage. Come on out, Wife Beater." And it was like, "Woo, Wife Beater!" Who he like,
Wife Beater's like, "Hey, that's good, guys."
And so Wife Beater's retired now. He had his retirement match before this, and like,
oh yeah, I wrote it down. He won fans bring the weapons, no ropes, barbed wire, bear ring, 100 light tubes, I quit, wife beater retirement deathmatch, according to Stricker. He won that match against Zandig, but I guess we didn't see the show, so it might have been like, actually, midway through this really long stipulation match, I decided I'm done.
An impromptu wife beater retirement match.
Did you notice that Zandig also apologizes for last year's Cage of Death? He says he booked people who didn't even know other people's names. And I have no idea what he's on about, because I looked at the card and it's like, looks like a normal CZW show.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, I don't know what he's sorry about, but I really like him just going, I'm fucking very sorry about last year. I like about wife beater that like Zandig, he points them out and he goes, you know why wife beater was here? Because if I couldn't make it, if I couldn't take those bumps, wife beater was gonna replace me. So like basically wife beater playing the role of Zandig at Deja Vu when Zandig replaced him. So like Eric hears this insane thing to say and he goes, oh, that's a class act, so Zandig, he's like really in like normal voice here. He's not doing the promo voice, which like you know, is sort of like how like the Undertaker's actual voice is like so much like higher than you expect, because like, you know, Zandig is saying like, oh yeah, we're gonna have Cage of Death coming up in half an hour. You saw the hardcore shit. You're gonna see some great wrestlers and high flying. We're really gonna see Lobo hardcore later. And then yeah, we'll be back in half an hour, CGW style. And then it comes to the replays, which were just so good. Like again, like I
every conceivable angle.
Every conceivable angle. I loved it.
Of all of this high spot. It's great. Slow motion.
Yeah, it's all there. And then finally we get into like, you know, like actual Cage of Death where there's no case to be had, but even still, you know, I feel they did a really good job at portraying Cage of Death as being like this huge fucking thing, right?
Yeah.
Like
yeah, I love that match. Like you could say, you know, if you're cynical about it, it's just three big aspects, but no.
No, yeah. Like you know, the whole raid is really something. It really never feels like there's a lull between the spots. Like you're just always like trying to fuck each other up. It was like the sort of like you know, because like in the slew of music videos would have been like the crazy barbed wire bump that like Lobo took a Deja Vu, and like, you know, trying to think about like how this compares, and I think like it really does well on its own, because it's just like such it's the sort of like conclusion that you would want, where like it's strange. Lobo is like, you know, this like dude who's like so good at being like a sort of like funny cowardly heel, but he's also the innovator of Cage of Death and one of the most sick twisted individuals in CCW. So you know, you need to have him being a violent fuck, and then you need to have Zandig putting him down for good, and then yelling CCW. How much did you think the terrorist kidnapping torture added to this?
Well, it's very fun, so I would say quite a lot.
I would say so too. Like like there's just such a maximalism to it, where it's not just that we can have Zandig beat Lobo and then get the company back. They have to run this angle where there's a contract for it, and Lobo signed it, but wait a second, coercion, that's not signable. And then fucking like, oh, but wait a minute, we'll have you sign this contract that makes it so there's no Cage of Death, and if you don't want to sign it, we're going to kidnap you and then beat the shit out of you and then hang you up on hooks and then make you sign it. But wait a minute, that's null and void as well. And wait a minute, here's Z-Barr with this contract, but oh, Z-Barr is actually on Lobo's side, but wait a minute, I have Adam Flash. Like, you know, it's just so admirable how
really
much there is. Take you on a ride. That's right. Yeah.
Zandig's little roller coaster.
Yeah. The roller coaster of CC Dub. Then it ends up being the first show under new leadership of John Zandig. It's Cage of Death 4. The opener is a fucking elimination match. Were you expecting such a meaty match stipulation?
Well, if there's one thing to say about this match, it was definitely an elimination match.
Oh, come on now. I liked it.
That's right. It's just everyone's getting eliminated. It's like, well, this is what it says on the tin, so fair enough.
Fucking.
So the competitors.
Yeah.
Danny Rose, Greg Matthews, Rockin' Rebel, and the new school of Chris Cash and T2 against Adam Flash, Derek Frazier, John Dahmer, and the Irish drinking team of Chris Stills and Ian Knotts. Still never figured out if it's Stills or Styles. I feel like they just don't say his name that much.
They say Chris Styles, but I'm gonna go with Stills.
Do they?
Yeah.
He's Stills drinking.
I thought this was such a perfect, like, it's weird to call this an opener because it's not, but like it kind of is, you know.
Yeah.
It was such a perfect opener because, like, you know, after the big story of Zandig and Lobo ended, it was so nice to just like see basically this parade of characters come in and just be like, oh, that guy, and then you know, seeing the news will come out, fucking freaking out, oh fuck, Chris Cass, and then like the Irish drinking team, they are fucking not only drinking but also smoking. They are smoking. Ian Knox is Santa, and he's smoking. And like,
can I say they compliment each other so well?
Yeah.
I was really pleased to see. I feel like Danny Rose in particular is just like he was only there like a year or two, and nobody really talked about him or remembers him. But he was so good.
Yeah,
he was so funny.
Yeah,
and also obviously he's got the Michael Jackson thing. Is it Beat It that he comes out to?
I think it's Billie Jean.
Right.
Yeah.
And apparently John House is dancing to this.
Yeah.
Eric said, he's doing the robot up here.
Would have known you're such a dancing fool, John House.
I really wish they had a camera on that, but oh well.
Yeah. Like,
you can all just imagine that weird, short, ginger madman doing the robot.
This is like an example of like how like the Smart Mark video approach is like odd because like Eric and John, they are at the crow's nest, they have their eyes and they are commenting on what their eyes see, and what their eyes see is not always what the camera's pointed at. So like these entrances are focused on the entryways, and then John and Eric are both just like, look at that guy mocking that guy, and like I can't see it. And then John Dahmer comes out. He's got red hair.
He's running around like a madman.
Like a maddo. And then finally here comes Adam Flash, the Benedict Arnold of Lobo Goon. And, you know, crazy to me to see the Ratchies on opposite sides here. But it's the truth.
Yeah.
And then, you know, Lobo Goon, they all beat up Adam Flash. And then before like, you know, they get like properly started, there's a whole bunch of dives. Like John Dahmer does a big dive and Adam Flash does a bigger dive. After Adam Flash does that, it's time for Mr. Sportsman Eric Gargiulo. He says they used to call Reggie Jackson Mr. October. Well, you could call Adam Flash Mr. December.
Because that's the fucking month.
And I guess as well he'd be like, oh, in previous Cages of Death, he won the Iron Man title. Which, you know, is sort of to like the thing I was sort of alluding to, where like, you know, this is like a CCW show in the Viking Hall. This is basically most CCW shows we've ever watched, right? But they, like, I think do a really good job at like elevating this by, like, you know, fucking every match Eric's like, oh, what's this guy's Cage of Death record, you know? and like just talking about it, like, is it like, yeah, it really is that WrestleMania of CCW, and I think they managed to pull it off. It just feels like, like, oh, this is a big special event, and then they get to that ring where it starts out with Derek Fraser and Chris Cash. Do you remember who it is that John House is like? He's like my brother.
No, not really.
Like I literally just like wrote it down and then forgot to assign it to like who he was actually referring to.
He's my brother. I do remember him saying that.
In this match, I was like really impressed by Derek Fraser. I can't really remember. I can kind of remember some of the matches that I watched back in the day. But like I thought,
I think we liked it.
Yeah. Nice grappling between Derek and Cash here. Then Cash, he like goes to tag, but before that he like makes a big show of like slaps his hands together like, I'm gonna do that. Someone else. And here comes the Rockin' Rebel. Rockin' Rebel's not going any better. He comes in and Derek is like punching him, and like Rebel's not selling at all, but like it doesn't feel like a cool no sell, because like he's still kind of like boo boo, sort of like doing the motion, except we just clearly like fucking like sandbagging him. John House is then like talking about Lobo, Sheriff Lobo being ousted. Who'd have thunk it? And Eric replies, I tell you what, I thunk it, John. Then as this is going on, Derek Fraser, he just fucking boots Rebel in the face. It looks so stiff. I'm glad he did that to Rockin' Rebel. And then like Rebel and Greg Matthews, I don't remember them being a tag team, but I guess they are. And
yeah, I think they were connected from like early in the year.
Yeah, they were definitely
tough enough alumni. Greg Matthews,
tough enough alumni. He eliminates Derek Fraser with the snowplow, right? And literally, in the minute before this, both commentators are like, Greg Matthews fucking sucks. He's fucking so shit. He had that tough enough thing and he fucking blew it. He's shit. Anyway, oh my goodness, snowplow, wow. He wins.
I mean, there's no shame in losing to YouTube sensation Maven.
Exactly.
Although, wasn't Josh Matthews second? There is kind of shame in finishing behind Josh Matthews.
Oh, yeah.
Goes both ways, I guess.
So then, after this first blood from Greg Matthews, here comes Chris Stills in, and then Rockin' Rebel comes back in, and I wrote down Rockin' Rebel with the working boots on, and that wasn't something that I wrote with any feeling in it.
Yes.
I just kind of identified like, he's on the ropes and stuff, and just like, he still sucks a lot. Chris Styles, I think it's Chris Styles who does a super kick, and very quizzically, Eric says, "We're still allowed to do that in this company."
Well,
I don't know what the fuck that's referencing.
I mean, you'd assume WWE. Maybe, I guess Shawn Michaels would come back so nobody else can do it, maybe?
Maybe, yeah. I guess this would be after this is after he's returned, so like...
Yeah.
This is a very good thing to get indignant about. Like, they're not going to do super kicks? Well, fucking, we're going to do so many of them. And then, Crystals is doing a House of Fire with these like banned moves, like a super kick, but then Rockin' Rebel hits him with a fireball and that leg drop, and he is off ski. And then here comes Adam Flash, all sneaky, like Rebel fucks up a rope running sequence, like fucking like the worst kind of thing where like you're supposed to go into like the gut kick and he just fucking lags behind. So terrible. And then Greg Matthews is back in. Greg Matthews comes in like Rockin' Rebel's about to lift Adam Flash up, and then Greg is like, "Hey, let me do it." And then Adam Flash reverses it into a facebuster. Then he puts him up top. And Eric, I wrote it down word for word. He's welcoming this green boy into our sport the old-fashioned way, with Santa's milky drop. Santa's milky drop. They're moving him up.
Santa's milky drop. I wrote that in quotes with question marks at the end. But did I hear that right? Santa's milky drop. What does that mean?
They're moving him up. It's a really unsavory meaning, like any which way you could slice it.
I'm surprised this has never caught on.
Yeah. So that's real cool. That Adam Flash wins. Well, he doesn't win. I keep saying win. He eliminates Greg Matthews with the fucking move of the month. And then Rock and Rebel and Danny Rose just beat the shit out of him and pin him. So, okay.
Yeah.
John Dahmer.
You signed up for eliminations, and that's where you get some fucking eliminations. There they go, 1, 2.
Yeah, as in, like, at the time, I kind of felt like, they're doing an okay job at, like, not making it such a, what would be the word, like a conveyor belt almost, Not like a fucking, like, Divas Survivor Series or whatever. But I guess in retrospect, yeah, it does kind of go one after the other.
Yeah, they have a bit of a beginning where everyone's doing stuff, and then it's like boom, 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 the dominoes fall.
Fucking, it just reminded me of like, you ever watched that Take Me Out back in the day?
The what?
You ever watched Take Me Out back in the day?
Oh yeah, no likey, no lighty. Yes. When a dude says something like, "I'm into professional wrestling," I'm like, oh, what a fucking show!
Well, it's no lighty for all these guys who have been eliminated. And in comes John Dahmer. What do you think of John Dahmer? You like him?
I think so. I liked VD as a team. But the V is gone. Time will tell if the D can. Time will tell if the D can rise up on its own.
Yeah. So,
D and V are natural partners.
So true. It's fucked up because like Adam Flash gets eliminated and like 30 seconds later he's just like up and hitting Rebel with a chair. And then like John does this thing which like I think shouldn't be legal. Is like he beats up both Danny Rose and Rock and Rebel, and then he just like folds them both up, and the pin counts for both of them. They're both eliminated. Oh my god!
Cool.
So that happens, and now it's down to.
Don't know about that. Hold the fucking tag right. Is what I'm saying. I'm from the Dax Harwood School of holding the tag right.
Oh man, the wrestling genius subreddit. Man, so now we come to like it's like the New School versus Ian Knox and John Dahmer. Ian Knox, the damn student of John Dahmer. He got trained under him. He became an alcoholic under him. He got pinned with Rebel.
Really?
Yeah, that's
that one.
We were just talking about it. The tag group and all that. That he was a victim.
Oh, he was part of the double elimination. I must have not processed that at the time because my notes are just like, what happened to Danny Rose? Where's Danny Rose now?
He's just heading under the ring like Rusev. So now like it's down to like this tag match here. I feel like this was the main mission of the match. Is to include all these fucking like faces and like all these big high spots, but like really it's about fucking putting over Chris Cash. Like getting this guy in and really giving him a spotlight, this opener, not opener of the biggest show of the year, and they're all like, oh, I see big things for Chris Cash, whether you like him or not, in 2003. So they're like, they do this like very cool sort of like mini match. GQ is still very awkward, I think. It's in a charming way, but it's very awkward.
Yeah,
Like,
he whiffs a top rope curb stomp on Dharma.
yes, a flying
And
nothing.
yeah, it's I guess the old "you fucked up" treatment. You got to tell the wrestler because he might not know.
Yeah. I really like Ian Knox's like off switch choke slam. He does it off the second rope, and I think it's very cool. I love when he like picks up GQ to do like some sort of move. I can't remember what his finisher is, but he's doing the drinking gesture for it. And then Chris Cash, he catches his hand, then hits him with a burning hammer, and Eric goes, "He's marking out. He's marking out."
He's marking out in there, John.
GQ, there's this fucked up thing where he's like doing these fucking like moon jump drop kicks, you know, where like he's like kind of like all floaty and shit, and it doesn't look very good. And then he goes to the apron again, and he's gonna go for a springboard, and John Dahmer's there, and like I'm immediately just like, oh, GQ's waiting for John Dahmer to be in position so he can get caught by him. He can like, I'm gonna, is he there? And then he jumps up, and then John Dahmer barely gets him, with this fucking Larry, and it's not even like there's like a big like, oh, like people are just silent for it. It is fucked up. Then John Dahmer drops him on his head to eliminate him, as you do. Ian Knox, he goes for the off switch, but he gets crotched, and then Chris Cash hits that cash flow, that crazy fucking move where like he takes your hands and boom, folds you up and shit, and bam, that murks him. John Dahmer, what do you think of his moonsault in this match?
I can't remember his moonsault. I'm so sorry.
It's seared into my head because the way he falls, it reminds me of fucking Rick Grimes. It's absolutely
What a free fall.
Yeah, he just fucking hurtles. It looks so graceless. And he misses that shit. And then Chris Cash hits him with the withdrawal. And Eric says he withdraws John Dahmer from the mat. So Chris Cash looks awesome coming to this match. I feel like just like looks like the biggest fucking dude in the world. Absolutely the highest energy of the opener was just like, you know, again, like I was saying, like just seeing like the new school come out, be like, there's fucking Chris Cash, he's fucking fired up, oh fuck. And you know, he has this big dominant victory over his fucking teacher. And then, you know, he's like doing the belt gesture. He wants that belt, that junior belt. And it's like, oh man, big things in the future for this. It's so funny to think about that based on like what his role in the later part of the show is. But we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Now it's time for more Z-Barr.
A 2-on-1 handicap match. Z-Barr versus Hurricane Kid and Rick Feinberg.
Rick Feinberg. So the story is...
And this is billed as a lover's quarrel match.
A lover's quarrel. So Z-Barr had gay sex with Rick Feinberg. That is what they say.
Yeah.
And
it's not even played up as like a thing where Z-Barr's like, oh no, I didn't.
Yeah.
He's just kind of doing his thing.
Z-Barr's gay now. It's okay.
Yeah.
Like,
we're just waiting for the world to catch up to Z-Barr.
Yeah, I mean, like they're not even really like they say as a matter of fact later, like on the back of his t-shirt it says "Suck me beautiful." I guess we know now that beautiful is Rick Feinberg. It's like, yep, I guess that makes sense. So Rick Feinberg and the Hurricane Kid, they come out to Dancing Queen. Rick Feinberg has a "I love Z-Bar's" t-shirt, which is quite nice. He throws in a zebra thong, which what else could it be? It's a Z-Barr thong. That's his thong Z-Barr wears when he's having gay sex with
panties, John.
So you know, they get started. Hurricane Kid, he is like doing his sort of he does like the rev up elbow, which is quite nice. And it's a strange sort of match because like they're like trying, but they're also like doing like like homosexual shenanigans as well. So
Rick Feinberg, he kisses Z-Barr.
He kisses him, and then Z-Barr's like forearm, and then Hurricane Kid, he hits a sloppy Frankensteiner. Z-Barr is a good unanage. I accidentally went to do this Bart. And Rick Feinberg. I feel like Rick Feinberg is a good wrestler. I like the slap here. He looked good doing moves.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to tell because the stick like engulfs whatever he's doing.
Yes.
I'm just gonna type his name into Cage Match here. Did he have like matches outside of this game?
Did he have a damn workrate era?
Apparently, his primary name on Cage Match is Dr. Chung.
What?
Theung. Okay, let's. For a second, I thought he also had matches as Bart Cam, but it's actually Bar Cam. But I think Bart Cam would be better. Billion Bart Cam. Gimmick idea. If anybody wants to steal that, I would like to see it. Billion Bart Cam, the smoking gums.
The smoking gums. Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, I guess in 2001 CZW he was Barkham. And when was he Dr. Chung? I guess Dr. Chung would be post. It'd be 2005 to 2017. And matches in Chicago about it. One against Eddie Kingston lasted 3 minutes 26 seconds.
Oh, I thought you said 3 months there. Oops.
It lasted 3 months and 26 seconds. Nice. That's the match I need. He's also wrestled as Rick Matters, but only twice. Once in 2008 and once in 2010. Rick Matters.
Yeah, Rick Matters. That's like, I guess like his. I like to think of that as like that's like serious Rick. He's no longer doing that gamedy act.
But yeah, unfortunately, it seems like if we want to see work rate Dr. Chung, we'd have to watch Shikara, which I have no immediate plans to do. I won't rule anything out, but it's unlikely that we watch Shikara Apocalypso 2006.
Wow, Apocalypso. That's how you like really get Robert Mitchum's attention when you try to sell him on Chikara and say, "Oh, it's Calypso."
I mean, this just looked like standard Chicago card. The Colony Fire Ant and Soldier Ant versus Lancelot, Lance Steel, and Lance Steel. They got the same name. Like they got them the same name, Quacky Boy. Quirky Boy.
Chris here versus Delirious. Is that not jumping out to you as a match to see?
Maybe. Oh, it's got a pay. Oh, somebody's giving it a 10.
Oh,
maybe then.
Oh, I think Mizzle Assaultant is an unbiased voice here to hear Chikara review from. Chikara delivers again. I love this stuff. Wow, I'm glad to.
You never know. You never know.
Yeah, exactly. You have to have an open mind for these things.
Yeah.
Just as you must have an open mind with the structure of this match, where Z-Barr does a Tiger Driver 91.
Why did he bust that out here?
Literally, he does a double jawbreaker, a Tiger Driver 91. He does the fluff, and then the donkey punch.
Who just fluffed him, John?
Just fluffed him, donkey punch, and he just wins. So,
yeah, I'd say this is a match in good taste, and it's dated really well.
But as far as the lovers' quarrel, has anything been settled?
Nothing has been said. And that reminds me of a spot that happened prior to the finish. I don't know if you mentioned the double dick moonsault.
Oh.
He moonsaults onto his dick. And some smart Alex chant Fallen Angel. These guys have got the wrong fucking show.
Bro, come on. We're trying to do
Fallen Angel at the dog. Come on.
We're trying to do homophobia comedy here. Can you please take your Christopher Daniels chance elsewhere? This is not the time for it. That's what Zandig should have said. He should have come out and just told that guy. So yeah,
fuck Christopher Daniels. This is about homophobia.
These guys are gay. Don't you get it? Gay. And so, Z-Barr with like a great win here at Cage of Death. I can't remember his Cage of Death record. Eric probably brought it up. But now we have to move on to a submissions match between.
And I'll show you that you're nothing but a little pussy bitch.
Yeah, that's right.
But who will be the 6-second bitch between Nick Berk and Josh Prohibition?
This is a question that needs answering. Josh comes out and he tells the crowd to shut the fuck up, and he is a pro athlete, and that's about it.
He no drinky the beer like those other guys.
Yes, it's in the damn name, Prohibition. He lives his life like it is 1920s America.
He's a damn professional athlete, despite his size. And he's going to show us what a professional wrestling match looks like. And I've heard a lot about professional wrestling matches, so I was personally looking forward to this. Seeing my first one. Courtesy of Josh Prohibition.
Nick Berk, he's a master of submissions. That's what they tell us. He's still got his Red Bull. He's still pouring it down people's mouths.
Nick Berk.
I really like Nick Berk. Yeah.
He's like, a lot of people tried to be like sloppy Hayabusa in this era. Well, they didn't try to be sloppy, but they tried to be Hayabusa, and they did it sloppily.
Yeah.
He's like that, but with Malenko. That makes sense. Kind of need a guy like that.
Yeah. Like, I think that's like a quite unifying quality to a lot of CZW roster. It's like there is like a sloppiness in their approach, which like really adds to it. Like there's no sign made later on, but just like the way that like CZW wrestlers just do like chain wrestling to open up, like it's just so pleasant to look at. Like
there's a lot of charm with it being like the period that it is, and everyone's like trying new shit, and some of it's like weird as fuck, and other parts of it will like form what we see on like Dynamite week to week now.
Yeah,
there's a very interesting combination of just like throwing shit at the wall. It's great.
Absolutely, yeah. Nick Berk is 0-3 at Cage of Death. Eric really getting into his like sports stats dude bag. He just says Nick Berk, he doesn't win big matches. He just doesn't. Look at the evidence. It's not me, it's the numbers. So hopefully he can get his first win here. A submission match. I feel like submission match, right, is a thing, and like say like a normal pro wrestling company can feel like weird. It's sort of like how it is in the games where like you just like fight and then like instead of pinning after do a submission. I think these two do pretty well at like having a nice grappling where they exchange holds a lot. What did you think?
Yeah, there's clearly a try to pin, right?
Yeah, like
Prohibition goes to the cover at one point, and the referee goes down, and he almost starts counting the one, and he's like, wait, no.
Yeah.
So the referee almost got caught out by it as well.
Yeah,
it was very funny.
Yeah, that was fucked up. Josh Prohibition, he hits a Saito suplex, and then Eric says a Saito suplex or excuse me, Saito Prohibition Plex. So, thanks for that. I really liked the part where Josh he does I don't know what exactly you call it, but it's like that thing where it's like the cross arms neck breaker, where the guy who's getting neck broken, like he's got his arms crossed, so like, oh, there's no protection, and then immediately Josh goes into a guillotine from there, and it looks really nice. And then Nick Berk punches the ribs to get out, like just sort of like nice smooth work. It always sort of feels like they're like angling for some shit. And then yes, Josh Prohibition hits the straight edge. He goes for a cover, and Rob Hartog almost counts, but he's like, nuh-uh. And then Eric goes, he's confused, Dan. He's confused.
There's a bit before this where Nick Berk, he puts on a kind of a reverse cattle mutilation.
Yeah.
The Danielson move.
Yeah.
And John House is like, how'd you get out of that, Eric? And then Nick Berk just kind of like, let's go with it.
Yeah.
That helps getting out of it when the person just lets go. I guess he's got to let it bridge, and you can only do that for so long.
Yeah.
Just finding like, this is the inescapable hold. Oh wait, never mind.
Cattle mutilation is like one of those holds where like sometimes I'm like, it's hard to see like the point of pressure that is being exerted, and like when you reverse the
I think it would be like central back, probably.
The central back,
like the camel clutch.
Right. And then when it's
the wanky camel clutch.
Wanky camel clutch, yeah. That's what it should be called. So yeah, there's that, and there's also Nick Berk does this really good, like he like does a Russian leg sweep and then gets into a fucking ground octopus, which is really cool. And then Josh Prohibition, he says he was a professional athlete. He lords his straight edge lifestyle over us. But look what he does. He like pulls out the brass knucks. He is using cheating in the submissives match. And referee Hartog, he does not see it. John says maybe if he pulled a cheeseburger out of his pocket he would see it. And Eric replies, maybe so, John, maybe so. It's very nice. And then Josh Prohibition's like main magic trick is the path of resistance, which is like a full Nelson, except like y'all are kind of spooning, which is cool. But unfortunately, Josh is distracted because Ian Knox comes out and it's like, hey, you no drink? I drink.
Yeah, Prohibition in his little pre-match promo, he took a little jive with these guys who were drinking on their way to the ring. But fuck, I'm Josh Prohibition. I don't do that.
Yeah,
and Ian Knox is like, well, I do.
He has this cinched in, the thing that he thinks will win the match, and he sees Ian Knox drinking, and he's like, WTF? I am straight edge. So he has to get up and not do the move anymore. And he turns
he doesn't
around.
even interfere. Ian Knox just literally drinks on the apron. It might not even be against the rules of wrestling. You might be able to drink on the apron.
Yeah, exactly. And then, Nick Berk, he gets the advantage. He gets the Texas Bouquet 2, which is sort of like a cloverleaf variation, and he gets the tap. And then I remember Jersey Reinvasion, where Nick Berk and Ian Knox teamed together, and that was like when Ian Knox was like sort of getting into his Irish drinking character, and like he at that time he was like, hey Nick Berk, you like Red Bull, but do you like liquor? And then Nick Berk tried the liquor. Was like, no, I don't. So once again here he's like presenting this liquor to Nick Berk, and Nick is like, whoa, hey now. And then Josh Prohibition, he's very angry. Like Ian Knox comes back into the ring and is just like doing a promo about like, hey, you should party with us by drinking. And then he stomps off, and then Eric has a really good line. He's like, Prohibition is going on to play Pictionary, John. He's a fucking nerd.
Yeah, what's he doing in his free time? Nothing. The junior heavyweight championship #1 contendership match. It's a freeway between M-Dogg 20, Ruckus, and Sonjay Dutt.
That shit is certainly next on the card. Sonjay Dutt. I didn't realize it was so much a part of his act now that like he loves to dance and he loves to entertain the fans. Did you note down the names of his dance moves?
I don't think I did.
There is the Bone Duster and the Sprinkler. He pulls both of them out during his entrance. So yeah, these three guys, they're gonna tear it up. And this is where Eric mentions that there's a next Viking Hall show, which again, as I mentioned, like, what the fuck then? Why are you talking about like, oh, this might be the last one? Because this is not.
Yeah, it feels weird to keep promoting it so heavily because, like, surely the people aren't going to be watching the video on demand until after that show's already happened. Because it's like less than a week away.
It's very true.
You could probably just mention it once, but they're all over promoting that shit as if it's going to sell extra tickets. I don't think it is.
Yeah.
So you could go watch 3PW, and if you don't like that shit, you can watch Ring of Honor.
That's fine. I said it. Which, like, you know, that was crazy to hear because it made me think about how, so like, Eric Gargiulo, he was presented with a choice. You can either do CCW or Ring of Honor. You can't do both, and he chose CCW, and so then I just think about his last ROH show featuring Steve Green, like, Eric, what's that in your bag? It smells like shit. Game's parting shot to you. You have a safe sandwich in your bag. So then we get rocking here. M-Dogg, he's doing a whole bunch of like fucking like crazy head scissors. He does this one where it's like sort of starts out as a 619 and it's in like slow motion, but once he gets it hooked, he just does this crazy head scissors off the apron and stuff. And you know, I was watching this Ruckus match and I was like, you know, something's missing here. And then John House fat shames them. Yes, we're back. We're so back.
Ruckus is fat, Eric. He needs to lose some weight.
He says Ruckus has the round condition. There's this very novel spot they do where like so like I think it's M-Dogg who
with the all the reversals that they do.
It was the hot potatoing of Sonjay Dutt.
Yes.
Yeah, where I think it's
M-Dogg. They're doing like epic dance routine reversals, but while throwing Sonjay Dutt between them, which does add a lot of extra charm to what they would have been doing.
That does feel like some shit they'd pull off in like a Hong Kong action movie.
Yeah, if we travel back to 2016, Ricochet and Will Ospreay, they probably should have been like, well, let's throw like, I don't know, who would be like light and low on the card in 2016 New Japan?
Jado.
Yeah, let's throw Jado between us. Hot potato Jado. Hot Pajado.
So yeah,
and then that match could maybe be a 5-0, and Vader would be like, actually, I really respect this.
Well, Ospreay, you can fuck my bitch now.
I promise I won't shit in the bathtub if you ever take me to London. I'll use the toilet.
This spot was so good, I just got toilet trained.
I love that story because it's like they don't elaborate beyond like Vader didn't like toilets. So what? He preferred sitting on the edge of a bathtub, or just like standing in the bathtub and squatting down.
It's just something I expected of me. He didn't like clean up after. Like,
I dropped my shit, and now I'm leaving my shit.
like, does he have any communication with the hotel staff? Like, surely they come up to him like, "Hey, what the fuck?" Or does he just like fucking like he's like a thief in the night? He just sits at the top and then goes away.
I guess you just put the do not disturb thing up as you go out, so like there'll be no room cleaning, and then you check out, and then that's that. Clean up my shit.
Clean up my shit. But if they were a hot potato handling, then he would have been like, "Yes, I'll clean up my own shit. I will run the fucking shower faucet on this big doo doo I took. It'll smell terrible."
He won't even promise to use the toilet. He'll be like, "Okay, I'll shit in the bath, but I will then clean it up and like I'll make it disintegrate and force it down the toilet."
But I can't promise I'll follow through with a sponge of the bath.
Yeah, you need to do that with Jeddah and Ghetto.
So, Sonjay like takes that hit there and makes sure that every one of those people in Viking Hall takes a shit properly. And then like they're doing a bunch of crazy moves. Ruckus has this thing. I don't know if we've seen it before, where it's like he gets you up in a power bomb, and then like he does like a weird ripcord, and like you fall that way, which is weird. And Sonjay, he's just like on fire here, and then it's time for the razzle dazzle attempt. And Ruckus, he like each time he like completes a cartwheel, John House goes, "Oh no! Oh no!" And then Sonjay is going to do razzle dazzle, but he gets cut off and then hit by the true razzle dazzle. And then
Yes.
John House just like remarks, "Ruckus going to hit me with the razzle dazzle." And then and then Eric, he says this true curiously, he says, "If you're so scared, get a dog."
Okay. Advice noted.
Dog will help. He's going to get like a chihuahua to kill Ruckus.
Did you notice a return of a character from Rip Past
Oh,
in this match? It was the return of the monkey.
yes, monkey. The monkey's back. The monkey's back.
The monkey. M-Dogg, he climbs up this pole that's like near the crowd area, and he launches right at that, like a monkey would.
Like a monkey. Yeah. So I remember he like did that before, and they also called him Monkey then. And like literally when he comes out, there's like he's a monkey. So that's just what the M stands for, I suppose. I was really I really liked this commentary line that Eric does, because he's like fucking harping on this date, and he knows, because he likes professional sports. He's saying the Eagles are playing on the next date, but that game means nothing anyway. You want to see them second string of quarterbacks blow out New York? You're gonna say CCW. I made my choice.
Yeah, fuck quarterbacks.
Oh.
What do they even do? Quarter your back? Who's the same?
So then there's so the flagpole press is done from the monkey position. And then
I really like it was a good timing with the like Ruckus does the razzle dazzle one to Sonjay, and then M-Dogg immediately followed up with flagpole press.
Yeah.
It was a slow time. It's good. Like flagpole press, kind of a weird move, but when done in this circumstance, it works for me.
Yeah. I think it exclusively works when you're like doing it off of weird shit. John claims that Ruckus promised him no razzle dazzle, and Eric, instead of like denying this, just goes, "He's a liar." Then after that, there is a crazy Tower of Doom spot where it's like, I don't know if the science of the Tower of Doom has been like fully solidified. So it's like there's like so many weird grips they're doing that you don't usually do in that sort of thing. It's like Sonjay is the guy who's at top, and he fucking folds his neck and almost fucking falls out of the ring taking this bump. It's insane. It's insane.
Yeah.
I can't remember what move the two piece is from Ruckus, but he does a move called the two piece, and John is like, you forgot the biscuit. You can't forget the biscuit. So I guess it means like, two piece at like Popeyes or something. So that's nice. And then Ruckus and Sonjay, they start fucking double teaming M-Dogg. You do a double leg sweep and a double Ruckus star press. It's all going well. But here comes Chris Cash.
Oh no, it's Chris Cash. What's he doing? He's in street clothes, and then he rips off his shirt, only to just be immediately punched in the face by all three combatants.
It's so weird. They do an entire match, an entire opener, that's like, wow, Chris Cash is cool. He's got so much stuff coming up in the next year. And then he comes out, he did the belt thing. So hey, he wants in on the junior heavyweight title division. Like, why was he in this match? He's mad about that. He comes in with his fucking, like, he looks fucking normal with his shirt on. Like, literally, he just wears a shirt, he looks like a guy. He takes it off, his fucking pants are sagging, crazy style. And then he, like, stands in the middle of the ring, and everyone, like, kips up, and they all look at him, and they just take turns punching him. And then kick his ass, and then literally everyone just does moves on him.
Didn't Gargiulo get very mad that he has low hanging pants?
He did, yeah. He was very.
That took me back when that was the worst thing that you could do. Like low hanging. Pull your pants up. I can see your underwear.
Yeah. His drawers.
Are you trying to show me your ass?
That's the question that's always on Eric Gargiulo's minds. They do this for like quite a while. You're just fucking up Chris Cash. Just diving on him and shit. Sonjay does his crazy dive where he like flips around the punch, and Chris like, yeah, and he's like, yeah, right, yeah, and the vibes are all great, and then they get back to fighting, and they're pulling out all these like crazy like counters and all that, and then randomly Sonjay just gets a pin. He just rolls him up, pins M-Dogg, and that gets him a number one contendership for the junior title. An upset, they say on commentary. I suppose so, because last I remember Sonjay was with Derek Fraser in like the tag matches, but now here he is, the main star of the junior heavyweight division. He goes round the guardrail and it's like he basically does the Brodus Clay thing where he like invites children into the ring to he does the bone duster with them. He like dances and stuff, and then M-Dogg and Ruckus, they were both pretty sour about losing the match, but you see these two kids in here dancing with Sonjay, and they start getting into it. Like they're just like grooving along to and like Eric says that the white boy has no rhythm. Talk about M-Dogg. I can't believe it that he would say that, but I guess it's true. So he's doing the bone duster and stuff, and then he just fucking turns on M-Dogg and Ruckus, just starts beating them up, and they beat him up back, and then he goes off, and like M-Dogg is so mad, he looks at the camera and goes, "This is wrestling, don't dance." So
yeah, he really is like, this is really a quick like little turn. He's like, "I'm just the guy who loves to dance. Don't be mad that I pinned you." No, just kidding. I actually love punching and clotheslining both of you.
There's like multiple things in this match. There are just such curious choices, and I'm so glad for all of them.
Yeah.
So now we come to the Chris Hero match.
Yeah.
Chris Hero is here.
CZW Tag Team Championship match. The Hate Club with Nick Gage and Nate Hatred, and the reigning champions face B-Boy and King James, known in some circles as Chris Hero. Chris Hero, he's the first one out. He walks around the ring, standard little day for Chris Hero. And he fucking fell over. There was no good reason for him to fall over, and yet he did it anyway. And then he doesn't even play it off in like a funny way. He just seems like legit pissed about it. Shouldn't have done it then. Why'd you do it? There was nothing there. There was nothing to trip on. It's not like, oh no, I left a can of Pringles out there, and it's tripped out. Chris Hill. No, there's nothing there. Nothing to fall. So.
Man, you first showed me that clip like 2 weeks ago now. Probably, I'm glad it still gives you a chuckle to think of it.
It's funny because he fell over and he's Chris Hero. And other people falling can be funny as well, but he's Chris Hero, so it's funnier.
He like didn't give a shit about what was going on at Wembley Stadium. He thought about that time he slipped at Cage of Death 4 and he just went, oh, fuck.
Like, I know I should be focused on this fight and CM Punk saying he should quit, but man, I just remembered when I fucking fell down at Cage of Death 2002.
CZW still haunts me to this day. So he gets on the mic.
I love how like you can see the people behind him just like, and he doesn't find it funny at all. Like if he wasn't pissed off about it, he could like, he could be like, oh, what's down there? There's a number of things you could do to.
Yeah, he could even
make it a little bit less humiliating for himself.
He could even get up and be like, "Shut up," or something like that, But as it is, he gets on the mic, and they said he's a free to hate club, but he's here, and he says he is IW Mid-South, born and bred, and Eric says to that, he brings back one of my favorites. That night, and I says, "Well, yeah, a cup of coffee down the street." And then B-Boy's here as well. Yay. And then the Hate Club come out as well. And what I noticed is that like Chris Hero wearing a shirt that is blue instead of like black, like most other people wearing shirts in CCW. Mm-hmm. It really brings attention to like how fucking immediately drenched his shirt is. I don't know the source of this. I don't know if it was like some water or literally just sweat, but like it's crazy. He pissed himself on his chest. So yeah, we're here with Nick Gage and Nate Hatred. They're fucking with the Hero and the B-Boy. I like B-Boy working with Nate Hatred. That sort of tried and true thing of like a way smaller heel getting heat on a babyface who is no-selling him by doing he chops him and Nate Hatred no-sells, then he just rakes the eyes. That's how he gets the heat. Aha.
I did like the start of this match where Hero starts by like inviting a test of strength by putting his arm up, and Nate Hatred with like his expressionless black metal face. It's like, okay. But then he keeps switching arms. The Hatred just like kicks him in the gut and starts fucking him up. It's a good start.
Yeah. I do feel like the obnoxious like heel gimmick that Chris Hero has, like, it does like have a good foil here, where whenever he is sort of like, doing his heel shtick, there is like someone just like immediately beat his ass. Like the Hate Club are good for that. They really do just fucking like, because like I'm just like think about that point where they just like start fucking beating the shit of him with a chair, and then like
this would be the match that I have the least notes on because it's not like a huge amount to say for me, but just lots of Hate Club being like awesome and like worthy of their hype. Hatred's decapitate the lariat is really good.
I love like just after the chair shots, it's not just that, they also like they send him into a table, and when I say that you might think, oh, they set a table up and then like boofed him into it. No, they like there was a table on the floor and he just fucking like skidded him in that direction, so he bumped his head on a table. It looked like it sucked. So B-Boy, like he has like some shine, right? He gets like a near fall off a shining wizard, but then
he's even allowed to do a face wash too, Nick Gage.
That's right, yeah. Unfortunately, he is murdered.
If that's not a sign of respect, I don't know what it is. So I saw a review on Striganet. It's like, wow, the Hate Club was just such a disgustingly selfish word here.
Oh, what?
Yeah, come on, man. You let him do the face wash.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that in this company, that's his move.
Man, that is such a silly thing to be like, oh, like what did he want? What did he want? B-Boy did just like fucking.
He wanted Chris Hero to have a World of Sport match.
Oh, I see. Well, he does not have a World of Sport match. He has a match where he gets like trounced pretty.
No
thoroughly.
Johnny Saint.
No Johnny Saint. No Mick McManus. Doesn't even get his ears pulled once in this match. Hate Club does nothing to do with that. So like, Nate decapitates B-Boy, wins. Then you just fuck up Chris Hero some more. Like they do multiple face washes to him. Like
B-Boy runs away. Take that, California. That's California told.
I was really trying to think of like what the purpose of this match was, and I guess it really was just like California sucks. So yeah. Hero he's like getting carried off, and then he refuses to help, and then he collapses immediately. So a poor showing in kayfabe for the Chris Hero. Ended up being like a pretty nice match. It's sort of odd. I mean, you think about like big shows, and I think so often it like the concept of like what it ought to be so often like overlaps like what the content of it actually ends up being. As in, like, you don't think like, oh, big show, and you're doing kind of like a squash match, but that happens all the time. Legion versus Power and Glory, the Shield versus Kane and DX.
That was a sick match.
It was, wasn't it? Though.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Man, WrestleMania 30. It was such a good show.
It was.
We've just had, 10 years later, we've just had this super hyped WrestleMania. It's only bits of it are for me. It's so sad.
Yeah.
Did you watch any of it? Maybe a bit topical for a sec.
No. I just listened to a podcast recapping it so I could be literate for when my co-worker talks about WWE.
Yeah. I like the Logan Paul's match. It was good.
And
the Slim Gun is always good as well. But apart from that, so everyone works like Triple H.
The Paul Levesque era, the Renaissance era, they're both in effect at the same time.
Triple H has gotten so many little twisties. It's unreal. Heyman, Michael Cole, just everybody. Giving that guy a little twisty. and it spreads to everyone. Like, ring announcer get a twisty, cameraman gets a twisty.
Yeah,
everyone's getting a twisty. I think we'll elaborate on this more when we cover WWE for the first time. But, it's unreal, man.
It's like it's like an incredible overreaction to like, oh, Vince thinks like everyone's a fucking asshole and shouldn't be thanked, and now like they're thanking them, and everyone's like, "Oh, that's cool, getting thanked," but just going so far with it, man. It's so fucked up. But yeah, they'll need to wait till we get to the real shit, the fucking the state era, when it used to be good and also bad.
Yeah, I love that good bad wrestling. That's so good and bad.
So yeah, that match happens, and then we get to another tag match, but it like has much more importance because this is the return of Richard Blade.
Rick Blade, yes. A tables, ladder, and chairs match. Rick Blade and Nick Mondo versus the Backseat Boys. Obviously, that's Johnny Caffrey and Trent Acid. Rick Blade, I think we might have covered him on the Best of the Best one when we did that.
Yeah, that was the one
but
time.
We didn't, but like, yeah, he was absent for the rest of 2002 due to an injury. Haven't seen him in 2001 recently. When I showed you that the clip of the guy doing the like corkscrew like spinal tap onto a table, but he just hits himself in the face on the table. That was Rick Blade. So
yeah, like
he's a very funny wrestler, and he's a bit of an early indie legend.
Yeah, they really conveyed it. Like he was the pioneer of like the CZW junior scene in general. Like he comes in with like a real sort of like aura of like this guy's important, you know.
Yeah.
It reminds me of like there was this line during Zandig versus Lobo where Eric was talking about how like, you know, a big part of like the story was Lobo gets injured and Zandig don't call him. and like, you know, he like compared it to Rick Blade's case where, you know, Lobo is like all bitter about his injury, but Rick Blade, he got hurt, he took time off, and now he's back at CCW with a smile, John. So sure enough, Rick Blade is here, and I guess he's smiling. He's with Sick Nick Mondo.
Maybe at the start it's smiling. Maybe when he takes like 80% of his bumps and he eats shit every time. Maybe he's not smiling now, but we'll get to that.
Do you like the old Sick Nick Mondo tights?
Oh yeah.
I
did notice that when Nick Mondo comes out, he looks like he's already done with this shit.
Yeah, that is true.
He just like very low energy at the start. I mean, he puts in a standard Nick Mondo performance. Don't get me wrong, but just defensively is I perceive him to not be feeling it.
Rick Blade though, like he is in the zone. He and Trent Acid get started off. This is where I noted about like the chain wrestling style of CCW, because like, you know, I saw them just like do these fucking things where it's like, you know, it involves like, oh, our arms are all tangled up and I do like a backflip, and like, you know, that sort of shit just happens in every CCW match. And it's like, this is so cool to watch.
Yeah, he's kind of the perfect wrestler to sum up the style and the time period of that era of the Indies, because he's athletic enough to attempt lots of impressive shit, but just not athletic enough to not just like absolutely murk himself every fucking match. Yeah,
it's wonderful. You like do this whole fucking like sequence that like I guess you could sort of like into like I don't know, like a Red versus Key type thing.
Yeah, that's what I like.
And like, you know, a guy in the crowd yells like Matrix while he's doing it. And then, you know, once like they reach a stalemate and there's the big round of applause, Eric just goes, "Welcome home, Rick. It hasn't been the same since you left." And like, that's a good moment. You know, that gets me in my heart and stuff.
Yeah, these exchanges, these reversing exchanges, these guys truly be reversing.
Yeah.
It doesn't like come close to going as well as Red versus Loki, like you mentioned, but it has its charm.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Like this is just what junior heavyweights, cruiserweights did at this time.
And then like the plunder comes out. I quite liked the weapons here because you know, the Backseat Boys come out and, you know, like Johnny Cashmere has mistletoe on his bat, so he's getting kisses from people, and then eventually they go back and they bring out the weapons, and they're all silver. I've never seen a silver chair be used in a wrestling show before. I've never seen a silver table, and
tape.
They all looked really crazy to just like see this fucking chrome chair in the ring being used and shit. And like this is the part where just that plunder comes out. Rick starts crafting shit with it, and then he pulls out the SSJ, which is like sort of like I don't know the exact word you describe it. I think it's sort of like the Okada neck breaker.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it's like that. And then like Rick gets hit with a blue thunder bomb through a ladder, because that's what he was crafting. He was crafting a ladder between two chairs, and then he get put through a ladder. And then another ladder spot is soon to follow, because Acid tries a tornado DDT on Sick Nick, and then Nick catches it. He catches him sort of the same way you might see SSR will catch him, and then just like does the motion of the Northern Lights from there, which is really good. Broken up by a bat shot from Johnny Cashmere, and then we get to just see the Backseat Boys do teamwork. They are such a good team. They work so well together, and I love all of the combo shit they do. Like T gimmick and all that, and then later on they do like the whole fucking dream sequence thing. It's like fucking like fucking 3 atomic drops in a row, followed by a whole bunch of shit. Then like it's at this point that they travel to the stage beneath the crow's nest. First it's Cashmere and Rick who go on off, but then eventually the other guys come around too. Now, it's quite funny, the big spot that happens, because think about how like there's been like maybe like 3 spots to this point where like there's been a ladder at play, and all times ladders played ball breaks. We come to, they're on the stage, set up the ladder, and it's like above, like like the Backseat Boys are beneath it, are gonna get impacted if the ladder gets pushed onto them, and then double moonsault. Hardest, the ladder wins. Flesh fails, and Rick Blades eats shit.
Off. Rick Blade eats shit. And then obviously, Rick Blade gets up, sort of visibly regretting his life decisions. As a fan yells, "Use the fucking scaffold!" For some reason. Rick, in one of his more sensible moments, he no-sells this request, but instead he does the fucking whiffiest fucking spin kick that ever whiffed. And I got audio here. Hold on
that steel ladder, those ribs have to be aching. What a spin kick! What a spin kick!
What a spin kick! What a spin kick! Why does he say it twice? In the exact same tone.
Because he says everything twice.
It's like the fucking guy in Goodfellas. He's like, "I'm gonna get the papers. Get the papers." But yeah, this spot, it looks so funny because he starts to like rotate in the air, but you can tell the exact point that his body decided it was not capable of extending the leg out long enough to like perform a respectable spin kick. So instead he just does a little twisty dive off the stage and then gets back up again.
It's such a, like those videos of cats where like they're like revving up to do a big jump and they go
yeah. He did the little twisty, John.
So yeah, great spin kick there. Nick Mondo, he's traveling with a ladder. John asks, where's he taking that ladder? And Eric goes, he can take it anywhere he wants. So they're catching a ladder spot. They get in the ring again, and the Backseat Boys are once again have a ladder on them. Rick Blade does a swanton, and Nick Mondo does a leg drop. I'm sure both of them sucked, but the Swanton seemed more like like Rick Blades, like it's like, oh, why did I do a Swanton? And then he gets up and he looks at Mondo and he goes like, fuck it, and then does a moonsault. It's at this point where Eric says that many people say that like CCW is just about light tubes or barbed wire. Well, I know about you, but I haven't seen one light tube or one barbed wire in this match.
Yeah, so, and it was the big, like, the huge ladder where they did a leg drop onto Kashmir. Kashmir kicks out a tuna for this off camera.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's a weird one. I really like too how that leg drop gets set up, because like Kashmir gets sat in the silver chair, and then Nick Mondo like kicks him, and he goes whoa whoa, and then falls down in perfect position for it. It was really well done. Have you seen the Matt Hardy versus Edge cage match from 05? Oh, not the cage match, no.
Well, you know, the finish is like a leg drop off the top of the cage.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
It would just be funny if like we'd be like 1, 2, oh, what's going on over there? At the end of something.
Yeah, that'd be pretty good. I did they ever do the gator mouth when we were watching CZW?
Yeah, this must be a new thing.
A new thing,
or maybe an annual thing. They only put on special occasions.
Right, sure, a
special occasion. I don't think we saw it.
Fucking...
So it's like a top rope flapjack, I guess. But Kashmir has held the two legs of the ladder open, and then he slams it shut as they get. It's crazy. It's funny that this move has a name.
Yeah.
Like in any other wrestling promotion, you'd just be like, "What the hell was that?" But here, the guy Judo is like right on cue. He's like, "That's the gator mouth, John. That's the gator mouth."
They're going for the gator mouth. Gator mouth avoidance.
Before they even say, it's like, I think they're going for the gator mouth here. Okay, I have no concept of what you mean by that.
Yeah. So the gator mouth gets reversed the first time, and then a Yakuza kick gets 2. Rick Blade gets the backseat driver onto a chair. It looks fucked. Like, literally, he can't wrestle safely. That is why we love him.
You just don't get guys like this anymore. Crazy.
Yeah. And then there's a wonderful part where Johnny Kashmir decides the absolute bad man, he's just gonna wear a ladder on his head. And then, oh my god, M. Bison! 2 Kashmir with the ladder on his head, and that takes him out. Then a cradle breaker avalanche version to Rick Blade. Then there's this interesting spot where there's a table set up between the apron and the guardrail, and the shot as it is, like Nick Mondo is in the middle of getting Irish whipped so he can get backdropped into that, right? And then from the shot, you can see the table go down. And then, like, a chatter among the fans were like, fix it! And then, like, the next time you see it, it's just, like, entirely fixed. So I guess the fans just put the table back.
I bet that was, like, Wax or something.
Oh, yeah.
Wax?
Yeah, I remember Wax. Yeah, Wax probably did that.
That's the kind of thing Wax would be on top of.
Yeah. They fix it so that Mondo can careen through it and die. Then the gator mouth is hit. When it gets successfully hit, I feel like the ladder itself is like the ladder you use for the gator mouth is like fucked. Like it's like absolutely like, you know, I would not climb on this ladder. And so like it's like it's almost as if, like, you know, they do the flapjack and the ladder was there as well. They just got in position and, like, it didn't really, like, you know, like slam it shut or whatever. But, you know, they did the funny thing with the ladder. It's so that it's the gator mouth, which is good. And that means that Rick Blade loses his return match. He gets murked by the gator mouth, and nothing to be ashamed of. Losing in such a wonderful match. Respect Knuckles between Mondo and Blade after after dust settles, as Eric buries Nick Mondo's Cage of Death record.
The streak is over.
The streak continues his losing streak.
Wow.
So yeah, it was a really fun match, really crazy match. Yeah, I don't know how many more matches Rick Blade has in him after this, but
I know that he sort of stopped in 2003, and then he weirdly came back this year.
Oh, really? This year? Gosh, he did.
Not in CZW, but something.
Superpowers of Wrestling, teaming of Johnny Cashmere.
And I can't remember exactly what happened, but I'm pretty sure there's a clip of him fucking up somehow from this match. So it's just that's Rick Blade. Thank God he's authentic with that,
Oh.
Even if it's just for one little weird showcase.
Yeah, I like this match stipulation I'm reading here on one of his last matches. Baseball bats are legal. Baseball bats aren't only encouraged; they're allowed. So yeah, that's the dream for Rick Blade coming back to CCW. Now it's time for the top of CCW, the throne to be filled, the CCW heavyweight title between the same two guys who were answering the challenge. Then it was Justice Payne, the champion, who was like, I want challengers, please come if you want my belt. And Messiah was like, I want belts, I'm going to come here on my own damn plane fare, because that's the thing that Americans care about a lot. And now so much has happened in just under a year. Messiah now the Iron Man champion. That makes him the number one contender. And so, he fucking so I think the story is that Justice Payne was defending against Nick Gage, and the lights went out and the bell was stolen. And it turns out Messiah was like, aha, I stole the belt, I got it now. And Justice Payne was like, no. So that's the heat for this match, this rematch between these two rivals. And yeah, what were you thinking when you sort of saw this as the main event?
Well, my first confusion was that it was labeled Iron Man Rules.
Right?
And that makes you think, oh, is this going to be an Iron Man match? No. No, you fucking idiot.
No, obviously the rules of the CCW Iron Man title, which comes to mind first and foremost.
Yeah, which basically just means no DQ. But I don't think I've ever seen a fucking DQ in CZW. You can just go out in the second match and brain someone with a chair, and it's like, oh, he caught him with that, Eric. And it's fucking fine. You can just win the match off that. So I don't know. I guess they're trying to make it seem bigger, or being Iron Man rules. I don't know.
Oh no, the Rock pinned Cody Rhodes. Now it's going to be Iron Man rules tomorrow. So, the Messiah is wearing tights. How do you feel about that?
That's his right to wear tights.
I thought I was quite shocked by it, but I quite like it. It's interesting because I was thinking about t-shirt wrestlers, right? If you're wearing a t-shirt and you're also just wearing joggies, right? It's sort of like, yeah, that's the look. But if you're like Sting, like people like think about Sting wearing a t-shirt because he's also wearing the tights. He's wearing the actual wrestling attire, and then he's just covering up his body. So it's like, he's like, you know, like that just brings up all those connotations of what it means to wear a t-shirt while you wrestle. And so like it's weird because Messiah is one of the former, where it's like, yeah, it's just his look. He wears a t-shirt, but he's also wearing tights as well. So it's like a weird clash of like two separate aesthetics, I feel.
Yeah, I didn't really notice because I guess it's been a long time since I've seen it. But yeah, I guess he usually wore like the new metal kind of baggy trousers, right? Baggy jeans.
Yeah. Like it's literally like a thing that like my like autism will like immediately laser in on is if I can like sense the shape of someone's legs, like their flesh legs.
That's not compute.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it was a nice look seeing it. And again, like these two are great for each other. I really liked the Answering a Challenge match, and I really loved that high stakes 4-way they were in together. That was so long and it was so good all the time. There's a point where John says, you know, he's talking about how Messiah was playing mind games, and he says Messiah messes with the wrong people, and Eric says the opposite. He says that the wrong people mess with the Messiah, and John says that remains to be seen. Rob Black is innocent until proven guilty. So then they mentioned how Iron Man rules means anything goes and all that. As you know, Messiah, he has this like really nice running neckbreaker drop. Eric mentions how like the open challenge that Justice Pain had so many people coming in who don't even work for CCW, and I'm really sad that he didn't take his time to name drop Billy Fives.
Billy Fives.
Billy Fives. I mean, he's a good wrestler, but Billy Fives.
That's like a trivia question in a few years. Like, what do Billy Fives and CM Punk have in common?
God, what did it say about me that I thought of Billy Fives way before I thought of CM Punk?
Yeah, I thought you were going to say CM Punk. But, Billy Fives.
Fucking, did you enjoy the nod to the Ireland CW title change?
When was this done? I actually watched that match a little while ago. Just, like,
did you?
Yeah, I found it on YouTube, and there's a lot of kids, and I can't remember how exactly the match went, but I remember the commentator kept calling it CZW. Like that's weird. That's weird, even if you're from the UK and Ireland, to say Z in this company. Like, yeah, CZW.
Jesus Christ!
A CZW championship on the line here.
Fucking, I really wonder what the thinking was. Like, did they really just want to like pop a house in Ireland, and they were just like, yeah, we're gonna change the title, and then we're gonna change it back.
Yeah, I think I watched the one where they changed it back, actually.
Right. Yeah. Because I remember that being like so weird that, like, you know, literally between CW shows this happens and like the next one, if they didn't say anything, you wouldn't have thought anything was different.
Yeah. But no, they're just like, my God, you should have been there. The CZW championship changed hands 2 times. 2 times, Eric. 2 times.
You should have been there.
How did they mention it in this show?
They just mentioned her, you know, like Justice Pain's been champ for the whole year, except when he went to Ireland. And then you know, like, it's just really good wrestling going on. I love when there's like a backdrop driver into like a really good like grounded half Nelson from Justice Pain. Eric brings up how he talked to Messiah after answering the challenge, asked him how to feel to wrestle Justice Pain, and Messiah said he never had an opportunity to wrestle a match like that. Fuck you, Rob Black. Which, I don't know, like, I watched Messiah versus New Jack, and it was cool. Like, come on, you know.
Nah, that's good. I mean, not yeah.
There is a point after that. It's like, I think it's like, yeah, they're doing this like sequence, this Irish whip sequence, where it's like you're in the corner and like Justice Pain moves out the way, and Messiah, like, his inertia carries him into the corner, and like he starts going up it, and then like Justice Pain fucking like, pulls him off, and then Justice Pain tries going up, and he pulls him off too, back, which is pretty good. And then there's a really good moment where like John just goes, "The Messiah was just on America's Most Wanted as the victim, and then and like there's a beat after it settles down, and he goes, "How dare you, John, make life such a traumatic experience."
Sensitive, oh god, man.
Yeah. Then there's like a rope hung Yakuza kick that Messiah does. He tries it a second time, and Justice Pain's big lumbering lariat fucking gets him. And then they're on the floor. Justice Pain, he's on the floor, and Messiah's on the top. And what do we get? A sabu!
Swaboom!
A sabu to the Terry Bunk can be truly proud of, and or make fun of it on Twitter. So then after this,
there is a part that I'd like to highlight where Gargiulo says that Justice Pain has dominated much of the match, and Hitman says, "And he should, Eric, as he should." The spirit of Doof is coming out of John Hitman. I said Hitman Hughes. Hitman Hughes. So now we got Deuce, Booze, News, and Hitman Hughes. As he should.
And if we get John Travolta in here, we can get Fruit Loose.
And then he could have like gone into a tangent about how King Kong should be in the next Planet of the Apes movie. You've got like the wise leader ape Caesar, and he just gets fucking splattered by King Kong in like the opening 10 minutes. I fucking love these.
They're like, can we really enslave the humans? Are we being as bad as them? You know, King was like, y'all got a tall building I can climb up. So the Messiah, he gets tabooed to hell, but he recovers. And what does he do once he recovers? He fucking sentons onto the table that Justice Pain is in front of. Except Justice Pain isn't there as well. He just bumps into it and it fucking bounces off of it because the table doesn't break. It doesn't give one bit. And it looks awesome, I think. There's then Justice Pain gets cooking. He does this.
Doesn't Gargiulo do the classic commentator thing of being like, that actually hurts a lot more when it doesn't break?
He does.
No give
at all. I mean, like, it's an interesting thing about wrestling fan psychology because, like, it feels like common sense that, like, yeah, if you like just fucking splat into something versus it breaking under your weight, it's gonna hurt more. But like, we don't want pain. We want like this specific sort of kind of pain, which you think is like, whoa, awesome. So yeah, that happens, and then Justice Pain, he capitalizes on it. He does a top rope blockbuster, and Eric Gargiulo does the look at that champ. He looks great. So that's cool. Then there's this moment where they're at the guardrail, and like they just have this fucking tense moment of like being real close to each other. They're about to kiss and stuff, And then Messiah's like, fuck you. And then, like, poof, he has some Justice Pain does. Do you remember Justice Pain's attempts to go over the guardrail? He gets Irish whipped into the side that has the UK flag, and like he does that thing where like he goes up over the guardrail, but it doesn't quite make it, and then he tries like oh, okay, I'm just gonna fall down. And then I remember when like the reputation of like Justice Pain was like, oh, he like was a pussy off the chair shots, which like makes this this next part notable, because like he sets up this thing where he's gonna like do a kick into the chair, and I think it doesn't look half bad, but the crowd thinks it sucks, and they like give him shit for it, so he immediately just turns around and fucking blam, just chair shots Messiah in the face, and it's like just like,
yeah, I think we're like now accustomed to guys like maybe holding back, especially if it's a chair shot to the face or head, they might hold back a little bit. But this is just an area where you just fucking brain that guy.
You just fucking do it. Like, it is very likely, like, I can't admit, like, this is most likely improvised, and just imagine that, if you will. Like, you're just fucking doing this pro wrestling match, and a guy just says, I'm gonna fucking hit you in the brain now. So after this, Messiah's all bloody. I love the fucking plancha he does, where, like, Justice Pain's on the apron, and Messiah just kind of fucking runs at him and jumps, and there's an entire forest of chairs. I don't even remember them setting it up, but it's just there, and he just crash into it, and it fucking
maybe
looks
Wax
awesome.
was at it.
Wax was
behind
crafting
the camera. Wax is like, right, I'm gonna set up a cool contraption.
The contraption. I must set up my contraptions.
I feel like that's close to the heart of CZW contraptions.
Oh, absolutely. That's what makes death matches tick. There's contraptions. So, you know, based off of like the build, where like, oh, Messiah was stealing Justice Pain's belt, and Justice Pain very mad about it, but we forgot one thing. Nick Gage, he just comes out like Big Show at Battleground 2013 and works them both. He beats up Messiah, who cost him the title, and then he beats up his brother Justice Pain also because he don't like him. And then after everyone's dead, Nick Gage pulls out the thumbtacks, and then he leaves without explaining himself.
That's a very good one.
And then, you know, Messiah and Justice Pain get up. You know, they kind of accept that the Nick Gage beating was just a fact of life, and they're back at each other's throats now. They see the tax and they're like, oh, I'm going to put you on those tax. No, I'm going to put you on that. And then they start fighting. And the first thing was like, Messiah hits the Carlitos way onto like maybe like 3 tacks. They treat it like it's a tax bump, but it's not really.
Yeah, it was like Justice Pain's lower legs going to the tax.
Yeah. And like right enough, like that's like the one spot where I can really see any like blood on him. Like that's where it's cut up, which is odd. But yeah, from there, then there's just like a whole bunch of like tax moves. I like the part where Messiah is going for a pile driver, and Justice Pain, he reverses it by doing like what I can only describe as like using his foot like a scorpion tail. He just like cranes it up to kick him. Like I don't see that too much, and it's nice. He does the Pain Thriller on the tax, and it's just for 2. And then he gets his table set up, but Messiah, he like gets a table in his hands and saboos him with it, and then fucks the table off. That's the table done. Fuck that. Not doing a table spot, just sabooing you with it, which is cool. Wonderful superplex onto the tax. Like it really adds to it. Like, there's already the impact of like a superplex, like, you know, the ring just fucking bounces up and down, and now you're adding like all these fucking tacks that just fly up into the air. It's wonderful. Messiah, he like had 2 finishers stored up because he steals the pain thriller, but it only gets 2 counts. And then I guess they were going into their fucking like NWE title finishes for this, because then Pain Thriller from Justice Pain gets countered into a damn crucifix, and Messiah wins the belt. 11 months on, he storied his finish.
Good for the Messiah.
Good for the Messiah. Did you end up liking this match?
Yeah, I liked it for a bit. I liked almost everything on the show, really. Justice Pain also seems to think good for the Messiah if he accepts his offer of a handshake. It's just kind of funny that, obviously, early 2003 is Justice Pain's betrayal of the Black and Yellow for that fucking porno.
I know. Yeah. Like,
it's two trucks passing in the night, or whatever the fucking phrase is. So one's got a headlight missing. It's the thumb.
It's the thumb. It took his thumbs. Yeah. So they, like, Justice Pain's very, like, you know, fucked up about losing the title. Like, just like very pensive thinking about it. But he does do code of honor for Messiah, and Messiah then, like, you know, he like you know, holds up the bells, and he just yells CCW to kick off the CCW theme. Play the CCW theme now, please.
Oh, okay. Please wait, CCW. Stop now. Okay, CCW.
Cage of Death 4.
Yeah, you're lucky I was on the YouTube that already cut off like 15 seconds of messing around.
Yeah. So Cage of Death 4 ended up being like I really loved this show. It's hard to think of like a match that I like didn't like, that wasn't a lot of fun to go through. Yeah, just like an incredible cast of characters that like you get like the big finale of like, you know, like Zandig is now owner again. This main storyline is over, but there's like so much more that they like put as like seeds to like keep you interested. Like oh, what's Chris Cash going to do? Oh, he's going to get his ass kicked, but maybe he'll get a title match. Oh, who knows? And like just stuff like that where it just feels like a very artistically healthy promotion, you know?
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that there's been like more legendary and crazier Cage of Deaths throughout the years. Like, I don't really hear people talk about this one. People talk about 2003 a lot, when it's got New Jack in it and shit. And it's like a big team effort in the cage. That's something that I'd like to do one day. But this is a great show. It's a great way to cap off the 2002 that we spent so much time on. Seeing the company go back to the hands of the Dig. Yeah, overall it's good, like biggest card of the year, like feel done well.
Oh yeah. And
absolutely. We will be back, Dubheads. I bleed black and yellow.
Yeah, we have to be back. We have this like robust system for playing the CCW theme through a phone speaker, which is put to your microphone, and then it kind of comes through a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, that was so well done. Yeah. So I guess now that all that is left is to put this show, feed it into the grapplometer, and see what comes out. So you have to bear with me here while I've typed robotic malfunction sound effect into YouTube and just blindly played that. You always surpass my expectations, man. I'm crying. And the final reading is 206. Oh, so I thought it was a good show, but the grappleometer never lies. So what's next, Connor? What are we going to do next time on OGP episode 3? And why?
Oh, well, what's next? Oh, hold on. I have important business call to attend to. Hello there. My name is Drew Galloway. And I was sitting back there in the locker room. I was listening to the official Grappling podcast. And I was thinking, when are you gonna come on the real shit? Like Big Mouth Loud? So I challenge you. I laid down a challenge. I Drew Galloway to the OGP. Next time, you're gonna cover a Big Mouth Loud show. I can't even remember which one it is you have on your list, but it's one of them. Goodbye.
It's fucking re-illusion, Drew Galloway. Come on.
Holy shit, was that Drew Galloway?
It seems so. He was talking to me. And
wow.
He said that Big Mouth Loud is his favourite promoter. One that he worked many times in the past.
Yeah, he was like the Andrew Kopylov of Scotland. We all know this. So wow.
Big Mouth Loud re-illusion. That was the one you chose, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
You still got Drew Galloway back then?
No, he ran out of my house. I don't know how he came
in. Re-illusion, 2006. That's the Big Mouth grappling.
The Big
Everyone's
Mouth
just
grappling.
Like, ooh, with their mouth wide open.
Yeah. Drew Galloway didn't know what show it was, but I do. It is Re-illusion.
Yeah.
And
it's the promotion where, you know, that gif of like the really like annoying face guy who's like, oh, like doing the shots. He's got a perfect circle.
Oh, yeah.
There's been lots of that from Yoshiaki Fujiwara.
Osamu Kido has come back to Reaction GIF.
So, since we last recorded, I have put us on some podcast outlets, including the Spotify, the Libsyn, the YouTubes, and something else that some guy I talked to also uses that I've never heard of, but apparently he uses it, so maybe other people use it as well. But not the Apple Podcasts because they're weird and they just don't. I just don't understand. So if you're listening on well, you're not listening on that. If that's your main outlet and you're like, when's it coming to Apple? Maybe one day, but can't be asked, you know. So we're on lots of things. I think that people should subscribe to the YouTube and hit that fucking bell icon, because if you don't hit the bell, how are you going to know when we upload? You might miss it.
How are you going to know when
how
you're
you going to know if you don't hit the bell? You might miss it. So, you know.
And we're releasing so many shorts based off.
Yeah,
of this.
we've got the YouTube shorts. I mean, we post them on X, formerly known as Twitter, as well.
X, formerly known as Twitter, as well. And you know, it's like you're listening to this, you've made it to the end of like what is almost 3 hours of content. But what if you listen to an excerpt from it? with appropriate videos and some funny editing. Well, that's YouTube Shorts for you, and you should view them and click like on them as well.
And one day we might hit up the old TikTok with the fucking kids nowadays. They're on the TikToks. They don't fucking pay attention to 4-hour grappling shows. They're on the TikToks, Mum. I'm on my TikTok. You leave me alone, Mum. I'm on my TikTok. So, yeah, might be on that one day.
Yeah.
And you still want to do the bread song for the outro?
Oh, the bread song. That's right.
Bread song. People, here's a song about bread. I think you're gonna love it.
Yeah. Bread for you. Goodbye.
Goodbye now. Please come back.
I'm a man who don't complain about the weather or the rain. I find it makes no difference anyway. Now I have but one regret that I haven't mentioned yet. It's all about the bread we get today. I can get myself a nice lobster or a nice broad apron crab. When I'm a little bit hungry, a nice little herring I've had. I can get myself a nice mushroom to go along with eggs in bed. I can get myself a nice mother, but I can't get a nice loaf of bread. No more you can. I'm a discontented man, and I don't quite understand. That's why I put this question up to you. In the world we live today, can you come to me and say just why they make the bread the way they do? I can get myself a nice turkey or a nice sold duck as well. Where there's chicken and gravy, they're the most exciting smell. With a pin I can tickle and winkle, but just like I have said, I can get myself a nice funeral, but I can't get a nice loaf of bread.